welcome to my daily chat. If you're catching me live on Twitch, welcome to the stream. If you're catching the replay on YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Doña, aka Doña the Light. You can find me off stream on YouTube, obviously, TikTok, and Twitch. That's pretty much it. Haven't been on Instagram very much. But thank you for being here. Once again, if you're catching the replay on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your free support definitely helps, or I definitely appreciate your free help here on my channel. If you're catching me live on Twitch, please be sure to follow and interact in the chat. This is a safe space for everyone. And yeah, today we're going to be discussing how your silence could be killing you. I mentioned yesterday I included a snippet of the show The Red Table Talk, and I really like that show. First of all, because it's 3 black women talking about mental health, which is wonderful, astronomical, and hasn't really been seen anywhere else. And went all the way back to their season 1 and realized they've been doing this since about 2018. And they had Kid Cudi on the show, and he was discussing his battles with drug use and just kind of what he had gone through with his mental health. And he was talking about how, you know, his father passed away. I think it was his cousin passed away. Hey, husband. Thank you for being here. His father passed away, his uncle passed away, or his cousin passed away, and his favorite uncle passed away on a matter of like 3 years. And over the span of that time, he never really got the chance to actually process any of it, because he started getting really famous and really popular, and he felt as though he had this image that he had to uphold. So he said, you know, everyone is expecting him to be this amazing person. He feels pressure to uphold that image, and, you know, inside he's miserable. You know, he said he would wake up every morning and just feel depressed, but he never took the time, or was never given the space to dig into, you know, why don't I feel okay? And so over time he would try to numb that feeling, or try to kind of make himself feel okay with drug use, which I think a lot of people can resonate with, whether it be drug use or alcohol or whatever other unhealthy coping mechanism we have kind of chosen and stuck with. And it took him a while to take the time to pause and say, okay, yeah, some type of escape, some type of mental escape, to just not think the things you're thinking or feel the things you're feeling, whichever. And it took him a while to take some time and say, okay, I need to do something about this, because, you know, he had dealt with it previously, dealt with it when he was young, and then he thought, you know, there's a part of him that was like, I shouldn't be feeling these types of things anymore, because, you know, look at how successful I am, you know, and again, all these people look up to me. But once he took the time to be serious about it, he went to rehab. He spent 1 month in rehab, and as of 2018, when that episode was aired, he said he had been clean for 2.5 years. So now it's been, you know, 4.5 years or so. And what I resonated with the most was waking up in the morning and not feeling okay, and people not checking in on you. People not checking in on you, and also you not sharing what you're going through because you don't want to burden people. So obviously his dad passed away. He has a great relationship with his mom. And he mentioned that he didn't want to share these things with her because he felt like he was going to burden her with the things that were going on in his life. And that's so huge. You know, I feel in the black community, it's slowly but surely becoming a little easier to talk about mental health, but not necessarily with our parents, unless they're already in that mindset, or they're adapting the mindset, or have grown to the mindset that, you know, you can have all of your quote-unquote needs met, as far as have a roof over your head, have clothes on your back, and have food in your belly, and still not be happy. You know, there's this belief that that's all you need, and you're happy. You know, you got everything you need in life. And, you know, as I mentioned yesterday, relationships and community are a huge part of our mental health and what brings us joy and what brings us happiness and what brings us peace. So if you happen to come across this video or this stream and there's something that is bothering you, let's talk about it. You know, I am willing to be open and be here and be a safe space for you to share whatever it is that you are going through, whether you just need someone to listen or whether you are seeking advice or support. I will absolutely be there for you, because far too often we look to our family members, and if they aren't in the mindset, or if they don't have the space, or if they don't have the capacity or the emotional intelligence to hold space for you and let you know that it's okay, that whatever it is that you're going through is okay, and that you can share the things that you're going through and it's not going to burden them. You know, there are some people who you share something that you're struggling with, or you share something that's troubling you, and they absolutely take it on and they make it about themselves, and they say, oh my goodness, this hurts me so much, you know, I can't believe you took this long to tell me this, and yada yada yada. And that is equally, you know, harmful, because here you are trying to share this in a way just so you can get it off your chest, and like I said, either just vent to someone or potentially hope that someone can hold space for you and just listen or offer some support or advice. But when they turn that around and say, oh my goodness, you know, how could you have held this from me for so long? How could you have hurt me by not telling me that you were suffering? And then all of a sudden they're making it about themselves. And when you share something with someone and you get that type of reaction, it often makes you hesitant to share with that person again, because you're assuming that that's going to be the same reaction. The best thing you can do, if possible, you know, if you can't speak to that person, maybe send them a text message, an email, write them a letter, and let them know how that made you feel. And if they respond the same way, then you know that you maybe have to seek someone else. If you find that you don't know anyone who you can share these kinds of things with, and even if you can, it's always great to have more than one person, you know. This is where seeking a therapist, a coach, a counselor, someone who can hold space for you when you need them to, if and when that family member isn't available, or if you don't have that friend or family member at all, you know that you can, you know, depend on your you know, life coach like myself, your therapist, your counselor, to hold space for you, and that they won't burden you with accusing you of withholding information. And, you know, it's okay for someone to tell you how that made them feel. You know, if I were to share with my husband that I am depressed, I wouldn't feel hurt if he told me that it hurt him to hear that. I would expect that, you know, to some degree, that my emotional well-being impacts him because he's my husband. But for someone, like I mentioned, to just completely disregard everything that you're saying and make it all about them, that's really difficult. However, if you share something with someone and they share with you that it hurt them, don't stop sharing. You know, if that person loves you, they're going to take that information and it's going to make them feel some type of way. And that's okay. Don't feel as though you have to stop sharing whatever it is that you wanted to talk about because of the fact that they said it, you know, it hurt them to hear. Keep sharing till you can see each other's point of view. Right, exactly. And having that reciprocity in the conversation and them telling you that it hurt them, and then you asking them maybe why. Sometimes we need that assurance too. You know, why did it hurt you to hear that? Well, because I care about you very much. You know, and as I mentioned yesterday as well, many times we have relationships with, I would say more family members than friends, who believe that we should just know that they care for us and we should just know that they love us. When in reality, if we don't hear that, or if their actions don't portray that, we're never going to know that that's how they feel. we might think that, we might have some kind of assumption in the back of our minds, but if they don't say those things and if their actions don't portray it, we're not going to know that to be true. The other thing that really, really resonated with me, in addition to, not sharing the things that are hurting you, or, your mental struggles, mental health issues, emotional illnesses, the other part was that he says he didn't have people that checked on him. Well, no, I'm sorry. He didn't say that he didn't have people that checked on him. He said that his friends would check on him, but he got really, 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 really good at hiding what he was going through. He got really, really, really good at putting on a brave face, at pretending very well that everything was just okay. And I know that this is typically what happens or it can be what happens when people commit suicide and take their own lives, because they get really, really, really good at shutting people out and keeping people out. So regardless of how many people you have that are close to you, how many people you have in your corner, people are not going to pry if they have no reason to believe that things are not okay. So it's really, really important that whatever it is that you're going through, you share with others, you share with someone. Like I said, whether it be a life coach like myself, a therapist, a counselor, someone who you can trust to hold space for you. Because if you share a minor inconvenience with someone and they shut you out, slowly but surely you're going to begin shutting everybody else out, because you're going to start believing that no one is going to be able to hold space for you. You're going to start believing that there isn't anybody on this planet excuse me who can help you. And once you start believing that, and you start piling all of that stuff in, and you start self-medicating because you're trying to, remove those feelings, or not think about whatever, or not feel whatever, you slowly get into a point where you're slowly killing yourself, little by little, every time you don't express what's going on with you. From my perspective, as, the superwoman of the family, or the superwoman of my friend group, people don't check on me because they assume that everything is okay. So many times, I don't have the tendency to reach out to people and say, oh my goodness, this is what I'm experiencing and I would love for you to hold space for me, because I already have a few people in my life that I can do that with. I have my best friend, I have my husband. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much all I need right now. But I can reach out to them and, say, there's something heavy that's on my mind, on my heart, can I share that with you? And we can have a conversation. My husband can sit with me and hold me, and we can have that conversation, and he can share with me his thoughts and his opinions and his perspective, and I can slowly but surely start moving past it. My best friend, I can do the same thing. She doesn't live close to me, but we have conversations, we send voice messages, I can hop on the phone, we can get on a video chat, etc., and I know that those two people will hold space for me, and I can feel safe sharing literally anything with them. But from everybody else, if I do share, like on social media, for example, that I'm struggling with something, sometimes it's met with concern and sometimes it's not. But growing up, throughout my life, I embodied the persona of my mom, which is, you just put on a brave face and you make it seem like everything's okay. In addition, in the Black community, speaking about your personal matters, that's your business. So you don't want to tell everybody, you don't want to put your business on the streets, you don't want to tell everybody your business. So if I were to share, for example, with my family members that my mom was struggling with something, she would be upset about it and say, why are you telling other people my business? And I'm thinking, your business is important, because if this business continues to bring you down and you don't have an outlet and healthy coping mechanisms, this business could potentially kill you, because there's only so much our physical bodies can take. I'm not sure why people don't realize how closely connected our emotions and our mental state is, our mental health is, with our physical body. I mean, just think about it. When you are depressed, or you're not, let's just say you're really sad, or you are grieving, your physical body is impacted. You can't eat, you can't sleep, your mood changes, you know what I mean? All of these things are interconnected. But often people believe that, these are two separate realms of ourselves, or I'm not really sure, but they don't see the obvious connection between the two. And, everything in our body is controlled by hormones. Everything. That feeling that you get when you are hungry, that's a hormone. That feeling that you get when you have to use the bathroom, that's a hormone. Truthfully, physical and spiritual is the same thing. Absolutely. But it's really difficult to be able to illustrate that to people, especially the ones who just don't want to see it. There are people who you can give all the examples in the world, and you can share all of these things, and they are committed to not seeing it. And those are the people who, unfortunately, you just can't change their perspective. What's unfortunate is when those are the people who are suffering. Like my mom, for example. I know for a very long time, most of my life, I don't believe that my mom has ever, I don't believe I've ever actually seen my mom joyful. She's kind of always in this state of just surviving. There would be situations, where maybe we are, hanging out and we're laughing and we're listening to music or something, or watching a show, we're having a conversation. There'd be, tidbits of that. But I know when my mom was working as a nurse, patient care, that made her happy. Caring for other people made her happy to a certain extent. But at the same time, that was a way to keep herself busy so she didn't have to address the things that really hurt her. My mom was a victim of domestic violence, and her and I never talk about that. I was a victim of domestic violence. Her and I never speak about that. Never. And I don't even know if she's ever had the time, space, to actually mentally heal and cope with the things that she experienced, during that situation. So, and for the longest time, she's experienced headaches and migraines. She really doesn't eat very much. That's been my mom for as long as I can remember. She'll wake up in the morning. Where is your sock? Oh my goodness. Look at this little baby foot. Look at that. Just a baby foot with no sock. She usually will just, wake up in the morning and drink coffee and make French bread. Or, eat some French bread with some butter. And that's been her thing for as long as I can remember. And it gets to a certain point where, that might be her normal, but that's not normal. That's the normal of a person who is silently suffering. And she's done a really, really good job at not necessarily putting on a brave face, but shutting people out. I once told my mom, this was a couple months ago, that the reason why she was having trouble with her digestion or something with her tummy, and I was telling her it's because she's been so stressed, because my mom carries so much stress all the time. And she went to the doctor and had her regular whatever appointment she was scheduled for. And she told the doctor what I said, and they were like, your daughter sounds like a smart lady. And I'm like, I know these things because they've happened to me. I have personally experienced these things where I'm trying to hold things in and hold things in and hold things in, and they manifest in some sort of way, whether it be headaches, whether it be, muscle tightness, whether it be, something more extreme like insomnia, or just so many different things. There's so many different ways that this can manifest in our physical body. But we just have to be aware enough and honest enough with ourselves to admit that this is a problem and that we don't want to continue to live like this. Some people are like, well, I'm not dead yet, so I could just continue doing whatever I'm doing, because even though it might be killing them, you know, it hasn't killed me yet.
They'll complain closer to their death.
They'll complain closer to their death and say, you know, I should have took care of that, or I should have took care of this, or whatever, you know. So the message of this video is just to remind you that you've got to talk about it. You have to. And again, if you come across this stream, if you come across this video, and you don't have anyone in your life that you can talk to, I'm inviting you now to talk to me. You can talk to me. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me here on Twitch. You can find me on YouTube. My email address is everywhere. Send me an email. We can talk on the phone. We can have a video chat. Whatever it is. Even if you just need to say it out loud. Sometimes just being able to say it out loud and hear someone affirm that what you're going through and what you're feeling and what you've experienced is valid. That you're not being dramatic. That you're not being a complainer. That you're not doing too much. That you're not being sensitive. You know, a lot of times we bring concerns to our family, especially in the Black community. You're being so sensitive. It wasn't that serious. You know, someone says something and hurts your feelings, and you bring it to the attention of the person. Oh, you're just being so sensitive. You know, your feelings are immediately diminished and dismissed, because that person doesn't have the emotional intelligence to admit, nah, what they did was crappy. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if they believe that what that person did was crappy. The fact that you didn't like it should be enough. That should absolutely be enough, and it is enough. It could be something as simple as, like, my niece is 9 years old. She told me maybe a year or two ago that she didn't want me to call her Mama Mia anymore. I said, okay. And I said, hey, if I make a mistake, I have to give you a foot massage or something like that. And she called me out a couple weeks ago. I think I ordered like 2 foot massages. Yes, being called sensitive about a situation you feel a way about is something. Yeah, it's hurtful, you know, but she told me that she didn't want me to call her Mama Mia anymore. I could have said, Mia, that's so silly. You know, don't worry about it. It's okay. I could have completely brushed off the way that she felt, but it was something that she's asking me not to do. It's her name. You know, she wants to be called her name, which is just Mia. So I accepted that. But being called sensitive about a situation you feel some type of way about is frustrating. It's hurtful. It's diminishing. It's dismissive. And it makes you feel like crap. It does not make you feel good, and it's not okay. Once again, just because that person doesn't have the emotional intelligence to understand that whatever you say about yourself and the way that you feel is valid, even if you're moving from a place of hurt, you know, even if, you know, you're moving from a place of pain, you know, whatever you're feeling is still valid. Hopefully, you know, you can be given the tools and go through a process to heal that pain so that, you know, certain things don't hurt you anymore. But right now, today, or whenever you said that you felt that way about what you felt is valid. Point blank period. You know, you shouldn't have to explain yourself and say, oh, well, it's because, you know, so-and-so that used to abuse me used to call me that name. Honestly, it matters, but it doesn't. I should just be able to accept that you don't want to be called that, and that should just be enough. You know, if you feel like going into detail and telling me why that name bothers you, or, you know, telling me why you feel that way about something, no. But the fact of the matter is, we use so many words, like the word sensitive, for example, completely out of context. Every human being is sensitive. Every human being. That's the reason why we can, you know, feel our children when they touch our hand, because our skin is sensitive. That's the reason why we can't look directly into the sun because our eyes are sensitive. Like, we are all sensitive because we have the senses of a human being. Sensitive. Now, someone using that just as a way to say you're being too emotional, or that shouldn't hurt you. Yeah, that's not fair, because now they are projecting whatever they believe onto you, and that's crap too. This is so deep and something I needed to hear today. Which part, Miss Fergie? And welcome in. And welcome in, Jonesy. I'm sorry, I didn't welcome you in, my love. And welcome in, Miss Fergie. But yeah, and you both know, I know, my husband knows. I mean, there was a situation months ago when I was still pregnant where my father-in-law kept calling me fat. And I called him out. The first time, I kind of got over it. It hurt my feelings, and I got over it. But I went over his house, me and my husband, and I don't know how many of the kids, I don't know if we had both the kids or one of the kids with us, because baby wasn't born yet. But I called him out, and I was like, yo, like, I don't like, and I was crying immediately. I started crying, and I told him, I said, I don't like that. And he says, I'm just playing. And I said, that's fine, but I don't like it. And I'm looking this man in his eyeballs and telling him that I don't like it. And so he goes and takes me aside, and he's like, you know that I don't mean it, and yada, yada, yada. And I said, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't like it. Point blank, period. And he shed a couple thug tears, and he was like, you better not tell nobody I cried. And I was like, what are you talking about? Of course I told my husband about it. And he was right there behind me, like, because he could see at that point that it was really bothering me.
I was waiting.
And he was right there behind me waiting to say something too. But my father-in-law likes to use humor, as a way to cope with things. Like a lot of us do as Black people, we make it a joke. We say it's not that serious. We call the other person sensitive. We do all of these things so that we don't have to be held accountable for the fact that, we are being crappy, the things that we're being a dick. The things that we're saying are hurtful. We don't want to be held accountable for that, because sometimes it's difficult for us to just be straightforward in our affection towards each other. You know what I mean? Instead of coming up to someone and just being like, yo, I love you. I've really missed you. I'm glad to see you. I'm happy to see you happy. I'm happy to see you smiling. You look great. I'm glad your pregnancy's been going. Whatever it is, we use humor to, hey, Spuddy Love, welcome in. We use humor as a way to cover that up instead of just being direct with our admiration, our appreciation, our whatever towards each other. We use humor. You know what I mean? We use humor to try and cover it up because, I don't know, maybe, what is it, baby? Maybe being direct with, okay, so there's a couple parts to that. It's that being direct with our admiration might be something that we don't know how to do, right? Based on how we grew up. We may have grown up with our parents, not being direct with their admiration towards us, so we really don't know how to do it with other people. Understandable. In addition, that's pretty much it. I can't think of many times where, I've had my mom come up to me and like put her hand on my cheek or something and just tell me, I'm just so glad you're my daughter. Just something that simple. But I bet if I asked her, she would say, but you should know that. She expects me to just know that to be true, which, I'm getting stuck, which is not fair, because how would I know that if her words don't say it and her actions don't say it? Now, I could assume that she enjoys that I'm her daughter because when she needs help with something, she calls me. I could assume, but I could also assume that because a part of me has always taken on a certain emotional burden from my mom because my mom never got married. She dated my older brother's dad for a little while. She dated our dad for a while, but she's never actually had a husband or a partner, or really anyone in her life long term that she could depend on emotionally. So a lot of that fell on me because I'm assuming it's because I'm her only daughter. And she would regularly shut out her sisters and, her family members. Everyone. She still does it. She's real good at it. I mean, she's very, very, very well versed in shutting people out, pretending that everything is okay. And sometimes it's not even pretending that everything's okay. She's just really good at changing the subject and very adamantly focusing on something else. That's why I tell my son David that I love him and he's the world to me. I also speak affirmations into him. Absolutely. And having a child can really, really help you grow out of pretending that things are okay if you're down to be vulnerable with them. I've apologized to my son for snapping at him. I've learned and really realized that a lot of the reasons why I snap at him is because I have my expectations are too high for him, as a 5, almost 6-year-old. I'm expecting him to get dressed with the most gusto and speed, just so much, what is it that we learn over time? I can't think of it right now, but when you ask someone to do something and they do it right away, whatever that's called, children don't have that. That's something that we learn over time. I can't think of it. My mind keeps saying attention to detail, but that's not it. Sense of urgency. Children don't have a sense of urgency. We should just expect that they're going to do things slowly. Not only is it going to be slow, but it's going to be messy. It's probably going to be wrong, but that's okay. We have to allow them to make those mistakes. And a lot of the fact that, a lot of feeling that we can't, a lot of the reason why we feel that we can't share things with other people is because they don't allow us the space to make a mistake. Like if I reach out to my friend and I say, I'm having a really, really hard time with whatever. And they say, well, what are you feeling? And I say, I'm not really sure. I just know that I don't feel good right now. And they say, well, how am I supposed to help you if you don't know what you're feeling? And I'm thinking, this is the first time I've ever been told anybody that I don't feel good. And this is what I'm being met with. I'm never doing this again. Hearing you are loved helps get rid of a lot of unnecessary doubt you may feel. Absolutely. Because all that doubt and worry and everything is just your mind speaking to itself. And if you don't have anything solid to go on, like someone actually saying and you hearing it from them and they say it genuinely and they're looking you in your eyeballs and you can feel that they mean it, all you can do is just perpetuate those thoughts and worries and doubts over and over and over and over again. That's it. Or the fear of hearing someone's opinion different than their own. Absolutely. That's a huge fear, right? Because sometimes you want to hear, you just want to hear people agree with you. And that can be really, really difficult, especially when you're going through something. For example, I'm in this mom group, this Black Moms group on Facebook, literally just called Black Moms. There's like 62,000 members, quote unquote. It is very active. There are a lot of women in there who speak and make posts daily. But sometimes a woman will post something and usually, she's looking for an opinion or a thought or, some sort of feedback. And I'll start reading through the comments and I can tell that she's not really looking for an opinion or thoughts or feedback. She's looking for someone to agree with her. She's not actually looking for a conversation. She's just looking for someone to agree with her. Like, I can't think of a specific example right now, but, we'll read through the comments and someone will say something that she agrees with and then she'll say, I don't see why everyone else can't see this. You know what I mean? I don't see why everyone else is saying all this other stuff instead of just this. Thank you, Fergie. I appreciate you. And Spuddy, I'm doing great today. I woke up earlier than I've been waking up, which has been nice. I've been waking up at like 7:30 every single day, which has been so weird because like Hubs is like either leaving the house or, you know, on his way out. And I keep thinking, I was trying to wake up earlier and I have alarms and everything, but it don't work. It don't work. But I did today for some reason. I don't know why. Thank you, Spuddy. But we have to be mindful. I acted like I was evil for thinking he made a foul move. We have to be mindful of what we share, who we share with, and we also have to be mindful of how we receive when people share with us, right? So I've said it a couple times already, but if anybody's watching this video, watching this stream, whether they're active in chat or not, watching the replay on YouTube, if you don't have anyone to speak to in your life, if you don't have a life coach, if you don't have a therapist, if you don't have a counselor, you can speak to me. I will offer you a safe space as a life coach, as a mom, as a person, as a human, to share whatever it is that you need to share, whether you just need to say something out loud or whether you are looking for support or advice. Here on Twitch, obviously, if you're watching this live, you know, you can drop something in the chat or you can send me a whisper. On YouTube, you can drop comments. On TikTok, you can send me messages. TikTok is weird when it comes to messages, though, but my email address is everywhere. If y'all need my email address, just let me know. But I know what it's like to not have someone to speak to. I know what it's like to not have a safe space of someone to go to just to get things off your chest. You know what I mean? Just to share. And I promise that if you reach out to me and I say, you know, I would love to have this conversation, but, you know, mentally I'm just not here right now, I will say that to you instead of, you know, being snappy or being judgmental or, you know, thinking, oh my gosh, this person is just complaining and I just don't want to hear it. You know, I'll be honest with, you know, making sure that I have the emotional space to hold space for you whenever you reach out or, you know, whenever that moment comes. Because growing up in the house that I grew up in, you know, begging my mom all the time, you know, to have house meetings all the time. You know, my brothers would get, mainly my twin brother, would get so frustrated. You know, he would literally punch holes in the wall. And looking back, I can absolutely understand why. You know, he would bring his concerns to my mom and he was met with, it's not that serious. You don't have anything to really complain about. You know, it really can't be that bad. And, you know, I'm grateful, very grateful that my brother didn't, you know, spiral into a depression and take his life because of it. Because depression can take you there. You know, if you're feeling like every time you express something to someone, whatever you're feeling is invalidated, it's like, what's the point of even being here anymore? If I can't even speak to my mom, you know, the person who I would hope would be there for me. And if you are a mother and you know that you don't have the emotional intelligence, ability to be there for your children, you should at least help them find someone who can. You know, it's not your job to be everything for your child, but it is your job to at least hear them out and work with them to find the support that they need if they need support elsewhere. You know, because there are people on this earth who are just not meant to be, you know, therapists. There are people on this earth who, you know, I'm sure we all know are just not meant to play that role. You know, just like there's people on this earth who aren't meant to be teachers, or there's people on this earth who aren't meant to be musicians, there's people on this earth who aren't meant to be accountants, whatever. There are people on this earth who just are not good at speaking, you know, and it might be something that you could get better at over time. It might be something that you could learn how to improve, but if you don't enjoy it and you don't see the benefit of it, there's always going to be a part of you that like doesn't want to do it, you know? So there's nothing wrong with you not being able to, you know, be your child's therapist. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you not being able to, you know, have certain conversations, but you do have a responsibility as a mother to nurture your child, to protect your child, and to guide your child. And if you need support with any of those things, you can definitely get it, but your child's always going to come to you first. And the way that you respond, you know, that says everything. It says everything about the way your child then thinks about themselves. You know, they don't see you in a different light until they get older and have more experience. But in that moment, when they're still children, they just see, my emotions must be too big. You know, that's why mommy can't talk about it. That's why she can't handle this conversation. You know, I must have done something really, really bad, and that's why she doesn't want to talk about it. And that's why when I bring this up, she gets so upset, or she, you know, gets so frustrated or whatever. It's a lot. But this has been a great conversation. I appreciate those of you that have popped into the chat and shared some thoughts, shared some feelings. Let me feed my dragon before she gets angry. Bam. Give her an apple. Yes, it has been, Spuddy. I appreciate you. But we're going to wrap this conversation up for now. If y'all have anything else to add in the chat, feel free to do so. But, yeah. It's been good. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. I'll be posting this on... Thank you so much for sharing your love and light. Thank you, love. I mean, it's what I do. I got to do it. It's all up in me. I gotta let it out. So every day around 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Pacific, I'll be on here streaming some kind of conversation. I get a lot of my ideas from the Red Table Talk because I feel like just about anything that they've discussed, I can connect with and resonate with in some way, shape, or form. You know, like I mentioned, especially because it's 3 black women talking about mental health, which is wonderful. So, thank you, loves, for coming by. I'll be back in the morning, probably at 8 tomorrow. Thank you for this. I feel all the love. I appreciate you, Fergie. Sometimes I do not like cell phones. Why? What's wrong with cell phones? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, you know, we don't have to use them. Oh, autocorrect. Oh, yeah. Thank you so more. I feel you. But, yeah. That's another great topic. Just unplugging for a day. You know, setting your phone on airplane mode. Yeah, just in general, just spending the day outside. That's always a wonderful thing. Anywho, I'm getting off topic. It's been a wonderful conversation. I appreciate all of you for being here. I might hop on stream later today and play some games with my husband. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, I love and appreciate all of you. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Hope you have a great Sunday, and again, I might be back later. Again, if you're watching this replay on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If y'all are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I thought I had a timer. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I guess I didn't post it. I don't know where it is. But anywho, if you're watching this replay on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your free support helps support the channel. Probably could have said that right away, but oh well. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace for now. Have a wonderful day.